Okay, this is a video about hitting partial wedge shots, controlling your distance, and what kind of swing you need for that. So the application of force in your swing doesn't have to be different exactly from what you use in a full swing, but the timing has to be a little different, and the timing, the when forces are applied and how much. So in a full swing, you want to go back, get yourself shifting, maintain some lag, rotate hard through, right? In a partial swing, you want to keep everything together. So still the same arm structure that you would use, right? So the arms can feel like they're sitting on your chest, like that, like this, and maintain that through the swing. That's going to keep everything consistent for you. And then, so the difference is I'm still tossing back and rotating through, but I'm not tossing and going through. I'm tossing and rotating. So everything together. This is going to give you a sense of a precise amount of force rather than maximum force. So precise amount of force determined by how much force you put into the first move. So you're going to toss it to a point that for you that's say 30 yards, and then rotate everything through. So it's going to look like this. Remember this structure, you're still drawing a nice little half circle here. So toss and rotate. And rotate all the way through. There's not a lot of rotation on the backswing, so it's a toss and rotate all the way through. So get that feeling, keeping everything together, and feeling your arm structure. And then this is phase 2. Let me get a green here. And we're going to say that's fine. 30 yards. So we're working on a 30-yard swing. So I personally play with a 60-degree lob wedge when I'm hitting partial shots. I think that's kind of a personal preference thing, but most people play 60, 55, 50-degree, something in that range. And some people play several different clubs, and some people play mostly one club. I'm a mostly one club person because I think for me it's easier to figure out with one club how to hit different amounts of force. So here's the things you need to control well. You need to present the same amount of loft every time. So that means you don't want a lot of this because you're adding loft, you're taking loft away. So you want to be very much together. Lee Trevino said you want your hand and the club to be moving at the same pace, basically. So you're not, none of this is going on. You're going through at the same pace. I think that's one of the best things I ever learned about how to control this, because now you've reduced it down from 2 hinges to 1 hinge, basically, right? So now your swing is just 1 hinge, and that's obviously easier to control speed with. So then what I like to do is, what I've learned to do is, I think for me that much energy is going to be 30. So I determine the swing by the backswing, not by what I do through the ball. So that's 30. And then I just rotate basically at the pace that things are naturally falling. So if I do that, I get a couple things out of that. First of all, I have an idea right away how big the swing is, and then if I miss subconsciously, oh, I didn't give it quite enough, which you need to err on the short side for sure. So if I didn't give it quite enough, I can rotate a little faster to catch up. What you don't want to do is go too far, and then your only choice is to slow down and flip the club. So you need to figure out, first of all, how to move exactly with the pace of this club, and then start trying out sizes. So I'm going for 30 here, and I know what 30 feels like to me, so it feels about like that. And let's see what happens. I'm going to say I caught that a little thin, maybe 27. 28, pretty good. So the reason I'm guessing here is because I'm guessing before I look at the outcome, because that's giving me a sense of feel sort of retroactively. I can then say, okay, my brain, what did that seem like? That seemed like 27. I was responding not just to the size of my swing, but to the quality of my contact. So if you work on this, you will discover that where you're hitting it on the face, thin, too high, has a lot of effect on how far it's going to go. Much more so even than with a rig like a 7-iron. 7-iron off the toe, maybe you lose 10%. With a little partial wedge shot, poor contact can be 25%. So it's more critical to have a perfect strike with this. So anyway, you just need to learn to pay attention to that and really keep yourself in this space. Don't be moving around, going into, keep yourself aware in this space when you do this, and then make a guess after you hit one. So try again. That was perfect contact for me. I'm going to say that's 30. 31, a little bit bigger. So then work on those and then move around. So you can either just take different sizes and see what's happening and then say, okay, now I know that's my 40-yard swing, or you can set yourself up a bunch of different sizes and try to replicate it. I think the important thing though is get yourself a pure motion and don't get something that's not right and be fixing it every time. So work first on getting a motion that is perfectly synchronized, see how far it goes, and then attempt bigger and smaller versions of that. So I'll attempt a bigger version of that, still the same motion. I would say 45. Pretty good, 45. So I now have a feel for that. That's 45 for me. Let's try a little one. $21. No, not so good. So, and this is probably going to be true for other people as well. Easier when you get to the bigger ones. Harder to figure out the difference between 15 and 20, I think. So, 18. 16. So that's where I need to work, obviously, but so that's what you work on. First, get yourself a structure. So by that I mean this, arms against the chest, everything's working together. You're not chasing it down the line, you're not going back oddly, you're just rotating, nice little half circle, toss back, rotate all the way through, toss back, rotate through. Maintain this plane angle. You don't want that to change. Work on that feeling. Toss back, rotate through. And then subsequently work on the sizes of different shots.